It's very early my time. Very early my time. We're gonna play some Dicefolk, though. Because my baby's awake. And he's not showing signs of going back down anytime soon. And I heard there was a new balance patch dropped for Dicefolk. That changes quite a lot. I want to check it out. I want to see what's different, what's new, what have they modified, what levers have they tweaked. So, we're going to jump on in. Oxmalv, hello. Welcome in. Good to see you. How are you today? I need to beat the final difficulty with the attacking faction. So this is something good. What about you? I am doing all right. It is very early in the morning, and I have a baby who woke up and is not interested in going back to sleep. So we're going to play some Dicefolk. This is one thing I want to talk about as far as their design goes. It's very common for roguelikes to have a progressive difficulty system, which, by the way, is a great way to make your game more accessible, right? If original Rogue had a progressive difficulty system, more people would have beaten it. Kara's asked, yo, sorry that the only stream I can ever catch live is when you're not having a fun night. Hey, we're playing Dicefolk with strangers online. What could be more fun? This is a great time. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for jumping in. It's good to see you. Yeah. So, progressive difficulty systems. It's a great way to not compromise on your vision for how hard the game should be. Just yesterday, I saw a Reddit post of someone saying 33% of players think my game is too hard, 33% of players think my game is too easy, and 33% feel it's just right. I can almost guarantee they didn't have an Ascension system built out. And Ascension systems on their own are kind of annoying to me. I kind of hate them. But this game does it in a great way because there's benefits and there's negatives, which you can see over here. Benefits on the left, negatives on the right. And the benefits actually make the game more interesting. Not only do they give you more powers, they give you different powers. So it really varies up the gameplay. Now, as far as UI goes here, we can talk a lot about proximity, right? We've got this green flame and the red flame on these kind of scales of justice. And the idea that it's trying to convey is that it's supposed to be equal. Yeah, it's maybe harder, but they are giving you a lot of benefits, and that's good UI design. I do have some bugaboos with it, though, where this is above the different difficulties that you're selecting. I do think that loses some of its proximity. Proximity is an important design principle, where things that are next to each other are related to each other. This being above this track makes it feel like they're related, and they kind of are, but really it's related to these things down here. And if it were me, I would look for another way to maybe build this out so that these scales could be closer to these and further from this. Because if I'm looking just at these and I'm thinking, you know, how do I explain this to chat? I'm seeing, well, these are just two boxes with very minimal amount of padding. It's kind of hard to read when you have all of these different abilities and everything. So just finding a way to have this down further, I think would help a lot. Even if it was kind of breaking this up, so you have the first 5 difficulties over here and the next 5 difficulties over here, or maybe 2 rows of 5 or something to scoot this up without losing the very nice breaking of the frame that we have here. That's a visual design principle. If you have a frame, stick to it until you want to break it, and then it can make it feel much more dynamic. This breaking of the frame here makes it feel less like a cheap overlay and more like something that's living and breathing, like a seal that is coming up. In fact, because it's resting right here, you can see that little tuck right there underneath that horn. It feels a whole lot more intentional. It's almost like it's hanging on top. If this were positioned just a little bit differently, that would not look as clean as it does. Risky Biscuit. Had an early morning wake-up call like me too. Hey, high five, Risky Biscuit. You and me, friend. You and me and Karazas and Noxmalby. Absolutely. So we're going to dive on in here. Enough talking about UI design and visual design on that screen. Oh man, we could talk about how the shrines to recruit new chimeras, like give off this, they're emitters for this particle effect. That's fun. Kilted Ninja, welcome on in. We do have ads starting in just a second, by the way. We're gonna pause during that, but welcome in. It is great to see you. Let's jump into a fight real quick. Although I didn't put on our relic, which I always forget to do on the advanced difficulties. You get a special starting relic that you need to equip, and I always forget to equip it. That's okay. Well, it looks like we're gonna just blast through this fight. Easy game. Yeah, Kilted Ninja, I've been really enjoying Dicefolk, and I heard that there is a new balance patch out that kind of fixes quite a lot of annoyances, like getting rid of the guard on all the enemies on the higher difficulties. It seems really nice. Yeah, Risky Biscuit, why would a toque not be a hat? Anything you put on your head for sufficient quantities of time is definitely a hat. Toque's absolutely a hat. Oh dear. Oh dear. You're seeing the camera. Oh no. Let's fix that. Old habits. It's 4:30, but I usually wake up right now? Risky Biscuit. My goodness. 1 p.m. Karazas. All right. Truly dark with you. And there's Connie Dev. Hello. Welcome in. So this guy is freaking awesome, Glavictus. Whenever an ally, especially the shiny version in this game, it's kind of like Pokemon. You can have shiny variants. In this game, a shiny variant is not just like visually different. This one has different abilities. So you can see the scratched out original ability. This one is just better. All iridescent is what they're called in this game. Iridescent allies are freaking amazing. So this is cool, and it makes it really easy to trigger. Whoa, I am a Merlin. Hello. Welcome in. Is this the Sacred Hollow of the Fox? You got it. You got it. I just cause havoc and chaos. Oh, you're a long-time friend of the channel, Connie. Absolutely. You've done multiple raids in. You're a very important fox in the Hollow. Thank you for being here. Good to see you all, by the way. It's crazy to get a different crowd going this early in the morning. So thanks for hanging out. I've got a baby in my arms who's being perfectly peaceable. Just doesn't want to go back to sleep. So giving my wife a little bit of extra rest. This guy's rad, but I take him almost every time I see him because he's freaking incredible. And you see that little symbol? That means we've gone through and beaten the true difficulty with him, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna see what other options we can get. Gotta jump to start my own stream, but I hope your early morning stream goes well. Thank you so much, Risky Biscuit. Have a great morning. Good luck with your stream. Good luck with your next iterations on SOS. Very excited to see how that all turns out. You guys are wacko. Oh gosh, who do I watch? You'd be like Tom Millman and myself and just have like 30 streams open all at the same time. All right. Let's see here. We're just gonna start blasting here, I think. I didn't equip anything again. Darn it. Why do I do this to myself? Ranged attack against our tank, and then strengthen. Sounds good. Rainbow Scourge. I also need to like analyze this dice rolling animation because it's really well done. It's very subtle, doesn't call attention to itself. Very fast, but it's also satisfying. Oh, I have 7 confusion on that guy? Ugh, I hate confusion, man. Confusion is every time you attack, you take damage. Equal to the confusion amount. It's really bad. Let's get the attack out from that guy, so this guy doesn't punch. That saves us 1 damage. Put blame on this guy, which doesn't matter. Thanks for the stony thing in front of the name. I'll pinky promise to continue to cause a stable amount of chaos. Of course you do, Connie. You got it. You got it. Ask Connie if we can use the shadows to join Fox Hollow and babysitting. There you go. There you go. Yeah, who else is up with a kid right now? What is this hour you're streaming out? Ask Samarapon. New schedule, says Foolbox. Not really. We just got a kid who's not going to sleep, and so to spare everyone else in the house the loudness, we're just taking it a little easy here. It seems like there's a little loud. There's a fool on the back. Foolbox, you can't see it, but I have the fez on right now. We really assemble like Avengers. That's right. That's right. This is full. Oh, that's right. Dang it, confusion. Ugh. This is full everybody's here moment. There we go. Got him. Easy. Easy, easy. This is the Smash Brothers Ultimate of game dev streamers. Absolutely. All right. I need to actually equip some stuff. Goodness gracious. Okay. Oh, hey guy, what's up? Now the problem is, I'm down a monster, and ooh, +1 activation. That seems good, since we already have the ray gun. All right. The stupid guy from the Avengers. I make a prod deployment on Friday. Hey, you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like Hawkeye. That sounds like the guy standing on top of the skyscraper shooting a bow and arrow at alien monsters coming out of the sky. That's what deploying on Friday is. I'm not really wowed by any of these. I mean, getting some early gold would be good. Croc of Greed, by the way, very cute reference. We could talk about signifiers too. How that, when you mouse over it, sure, you get the little pop-up of the text, and that's immediate. Oh, guy. But also, that little growth curve, that ease in, ease out growth on it. Nice and subtle. It's easy to overdo stuff like that. Sninko Games, welcome in. How are you? I think this is the first time. Yeah, first time chat. Hello. How was Bolt Gun? I saw you were playing that. Today, I guess, for you. Doing good, my man? Good to hear it. Connie Dev, it's 100% my code, and I made the complete pipeline. I knew 100% of the changes I did. I have absolutely no clue why I do this. Very cool. Yeah, man. I was hanging out on your stream a little bit early. I was lurking. I wasn't saying anything, but I mean, you got to purge the Xenos, right? 100%. Volcom was fun. Difficulty gets a little wonky, going from mid to late, but solid. Oh, I didn't know that. Very cool. Bless you, cotton socks. Yeah, welcome in. It's fun having a different crowd at this time of day. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. All right. So yeah, we do have this problem where we're down a monster. And that is a very clever thing this game design does. Poor little pigeon, raiding with a party of 15 viewers. Hello, welcome in, poor little pigeon. I'm going to throw you a follow. What? I don't follow you. Poor little pigeon, how is your stream? What do you stream? You stream game dev? What are you building? I want to hear about it. Welcome in, everyone. This is not what I normally do. Well, rather, we normally stream game dev, and we do frequently do analysis streams. Gotta run, have a good stream? No worries. You go take a rest. That's what raids are for. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. So yeah, what we do, thank you for the follow, poor little pigeon. What we normally do here is we build, we're a charitable enterprise devoted to helping people develop the skills they need to enter the video game industry. But we also do a lot of analysis streams. We talk about what works in games and what doesn't, and that's what we're discussing right now. This is Dicefolk. This is not my game. Heavens to Betsy. I wish it were my game. I'd be very proud of myself if it were. But we're talking about all the things that make it tick. What works, what doesn't, so that we can break apart those little principles and bring them back to our games. For example, one thing that I don't think we've ever really mentioned here is I don't think the background is animated outside of the clouds. Except for these little wind wisps. You see those? That just brings a lot of life and dynamism into an otherwise static screen. And then the little ripple through the grass. That's very nice. Very, very subtle. Breathes a lot of life into the world. Captain Fubar, analysis paralysis a lot. You know it. Welcome in, Prostocotalo. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. So now the Avengers are complete now, says Connie. Absolutely. K-Hadao, hello. Hello. Good to see you all. Where are we at? Captain Fubar, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate ya. I think Deflux is missing to be complete. Particles, yeah. Oh, hey, welcome in, Fullbox. Bits of wind in the grass too. Yes, Kilted Ninja. Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Very subtle without complicating and distracting. Yeah, very good. Prosto means simple. Okay. Very cool. Simple cuddle. I'm sure that's probably a thing. A word as well. You bought friends. You always do, Foolbox. Thank you for being here. Longtime friend of the channel. How are you doing today? I'm sure you're gearing up for your stream, right? You're probably getting ready. Played the demo of this, says Kilted Ninja, but I got confused because I played as the enemy as well, but I'm out of touch with a lot of games these days. Is that a common thing with this genre? I don't think it's a common thing at all. I don't think it's a very common thing at all. I think it's very new, and I think it's very interesting because it gives you full control over the board. And we talk about this a lot in our game design analysis frameworks. It really amps up a category called empowerment. Empowerment's really special. By giving control to the player of the enemy turns, you are in complete control, essentially, of what happens, right? So anytime you lose, it really feels like it's your fault, right? It's kind of that same effect that Dark Souls tends to have, where it's like, shoot, I died again, but I know exactly what I did wrong. Let me try again. It generates that same effect. Fullbox, getting the day started slowly. Need to get the coffee. I definitely understand. Cachulo means weird cat, like Puss in Boots or Cheshire Cat. Non-regular cat. I love it. Simple, non-regular cat. I love that there's a word in a language for non-regular cat. That makes me happy. I'm very happy that that exists. Thank you for telling me. Trees should visually reflect the wind stripes with a sway shader. No? It could be. It could be. So I don't know if that's a matter of, like, they felt it would be too distracting, or if they felt that it just wasn't worth the time, and that their time would be better spent, you know, getting a couple more frames of animation in a couple of these monsters, or adding a little more of these signifiers, right? Where if you hover over them, you get that little, we talked about that earlier, the ease in, ease out little zoom there, and refining things. It could have been either one. I don't know which. But yeah, it's a good thing to point out. It's a good thing to point out, and it should have been intentional, regardless. All right, let's keep going. Oh, that little purple burst that comes out of the end turn button, by the way. Good use of color. Oh, you know, I just realized this. All of the end turn button being purple means that identifying that the end turn ties in with the enemy dice, right? If this were like a black button or like a contrasting orange or something, it wouldn't feel like it belonged to the enemy dice. But you can only end the turn when you use all the enemy dice. That's a very good use of color. Tweens! Learn tweens, people! The dice have nice pops. Yeah, exactly. And even on here, you know, they've got this nice little hover. And in fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they're using very similar hover effects. Just a single hover script that they're calling every single time. Now, talking about tree sway shaders, you can look in the background here on the map, right? Just a couple frames of animation. I think it's just 3 frames. And then they also have wind blow by every now and again. Very simple. So if it's here, I'm assuming it's not in the battle map for reasons. I'm assuming that they had it on a Jira board or a Trello board at some point, and then decided not to go with it for whatever reason. So again, for the Who in Tank local proverb. So is it your game? No, this is not my game. This is an analysis. So I love doing streams like this where we analyze what makes good games great. And then we can take that and replicate it. So like the other day we were talking about Miller's Law in regards to Dicefolk. And we talked about the amount of decisions on screen at any given point. Miller's Law says that the average person can hold between 5 and 9 pieces of information in their head at any given point. And that's helpful because we can see in Dice Throne how they kind of layer decisions in, right? So you have your dice down here, you have 5 different decision points, and then you have 3 monsters, and then usually 3 monsters over here. So you have 3, 6, and then usually 6 dice. So that's 12 data points. You might think that's way too many. But then as you get familiar with this, you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, like I don't need to keep all this in my head. Like I don't need to remember what my monster up here does. I just need to kind of remember that he exists. So you start to mentally simplify things. The amount of data points you consider at any given point goes down with experience. So then they can start bringing in more complexity. And it works really well. You have these different layers of complexity and layers of decisions. We have a whole video where we talked about this. And that has helped me in my game that I'm building because I'm starting to see, oh shoot, my game feels kind of boring. I don't really remember, don't know why. I was able to look at Miller's Law and say, oh, well, I'm only got like 4 points of data on screen at any given point, 4 things that are impacting a decision. That's a big problem. I need to amp that up to take up the brain cycles a little bit more. So, anyways, we love doing stuff like that here. The dice are 2D, but they rotate like they're 3D. That's some nice shader magic for you. Yeah, I don't know if it's a shader or if it's like hand-drawn animation. I have no idea. But it's a good point, Foolbox. Very, very good point. Really like the cute characters. Also easier to animate, less detail. Yeah, and they go for a very chunky animation style, right? Like, Bian Fury here, you can see, like, that's really chunky. They're not going for Hades-style smoothness. But they do it in a style that works. And that chunkiness feels natural. I bet those dice were animated in 3D. Very well could be. Yeah, very well could be. Jack, welcome in. This is probably a reasonable time of the day for you right now. Good to see you. 5 and 9. Seems I'm constantly have 4 of them occupied by some dumb things like these 2 croissants, right? Croissant. Wait, hold on. Oops. Didn't mean to pin that. My apologies. No, I don't want to delete the message. I just want to unpin it. There we go. Goodness gracious. Also liked how the Belloid guys have different styles. Yeah. Absolutely. And they all have the same abilities. They have slightly different stats, but like the tank dude is a big chunk. This guy is just kind of normal, and then the skinny guy was the big damage dealer. They didn't need to do that. They didn't need to have those variants, but they did. It was very clever, very good. Don't like the decision that they stretched the interface at the bottom to fill the screen. Rather prefer a compact UI display with the buttons. I can see that. In fact, now that you mention it, I was gonna say something to defend it, but now that you mention it, they don't align these edges, I don't think. I think the gear edge here is further out than this end turn button is. Same thing with the coins. This one might be lined up, but I think the coins are further to the left. So I was gonna say, you know what? It actually builds a nice box around the viewport to focus your attention in here, where the game is. But they didn't line it up correctly, so I can't really defend it. Croissant and back. Oh, excuse me. We got some Quebecers in the chat right now. Croissant and baguette, right? They do it? Am I Quebecer? Yes, mouse travel distance is another point in UI design. That's called that's not Hick's law. That's Fitt's law. Fitt's law says that the more distance you have to travel, and the smaller the target, the harder it's going to be for people to actually click the dang thing. It's going to be more resource intensive in their minds. So we can talk about that with these, right? They very cleverly chunk these together, and they give them very big buttons. So it's pretty easy to bounce between them, but you're not going to accidentally go over into the other team's dice. That's very well done. The end turn, the reroll and everything, yeah, they could be a little bit closer if they weren't going to line it up and make the box. To reduce that Fitt's law. The reroll especially, I tend to forget about. I kind of forget that exists, and it's really important not to forget that exists. Backseat Stoner. Hi, first time here. Why do I have a movable, semi-transparent black rectangle on the stream? That's a good question. I don't know. My guess would be it's the closed captions plugin. That would be my guess. If you mouse over it to get the closed captions thing, can you like make it invisible and see if that goes away? That'd be my guess. Yeah, if the reroll and end turn were right beside the appropriate dice, could be better maybe. Could be. And that's actually a very good point. I didn't think about that. Very good point, Kilted. Reroll applies not just to you, it applies to everyone. But by putting it over here and end turn over here, you assume that it does, right? You assume reroll is just going to be your dice, end turn is just related to the enemy dice. It may have been smarter to put the reroll above or below. Even though it may have been a little bit messier of a UI, it probably would have communicated the concept a little bit more transparently. It would have been more self-evident instead of having to be self-explanatory. It's a closed caption, says Foolbox. Thank you, Foolbox. Seems like you can rotate them. Yes! So the only monster who's in control, really, is the one who's in front with this crown. This is the lead monster. So, we should actually keep going on this. I'm going to rotate these guys around. So the lower damage guys in front. We're going to get our damage dealer to do an attack. And then we will throw a guard up, clash. Now we've not taken any damage, and we've done a lot of damage to the enemy team. I'm going to reroll, because Rainbow Scourge is a disaster. Dang it. An attack. That's a bummer. It's called Lazy Susan. Captain Anosa, welcome in. Good to see you. How are you? I follow you. I think I've been in one of your streams before. Backseat Stoner, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Welcome in. It's good to have you here. How are you doing today? You feel free to lurk if you want, but I'm glad you're here. All right, so we got our potions up here. They're all poker chips. I'm not totally sure I understand the theming there. Maybe because it's like dice. It's like gambling dice, so you get poker chips. I don't know. Captain Anosa, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. The Scroll Master is interesting. It's an interesting mechanic. And it breathes a lot of life into the game. When you start the game, you pick a certain class, essentially, a faction of monsters you're going to be pulling from. And that faction will have, 16 of the, 80 monsters available to them. The Scroll Master lets you buy a monster from a different faction at random. So you get, these really weird, oh, that shouldn't really work, but because of this weird build we've got going, it really works, sort of moments, which is really fun. I think I'm going to pass on this guy. He inflicts sleep on the opposing leader, which is really strong. It's just not really going to help us right now. It's going to be kind of anti-synergistic, or rather, it's not anti-synergistic. It's just not building into what we were wanting to build. I'm sure I hear the name Lazy Patty somewhere. You look familiar, said Captain Onosa. I was trying to place that. That must have been it. Cool. Very glad. I'm glad. The poker chips are weird for me, says Kilted Ninja. I understand they're supposed to be tokens, and I'm not sure how else you'd represent a token. Probably seem the closest choice for them maybe. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I guess a potion may not make a ton of sense because sometimes these will affect, the opponents, and, are you just gonna, force feed a potion down their throat in the middle of a fight? That doesn't necessarily make sense, but yeah, it just, I don't know. It's a little weird. Not a big deal, just a little weird. This is where we get to change how our dice are. So I'm going to buy some mirrors and replace our weights, our idols. Those are just dead dice. So now if we get a sword, we can use a mirror right after the sword and get an extra attack in. I'm also going to buy a ranged attack. They're just objectively better than normal attacks. Only one in-game currency. Gold, I assume. Pretty much. Yeah, just gold. This is a work-in-progress game you're writing. Backseat Stoner, I dearly wish. No, this is Dicefolk. It's available on Steam right now. It's 10% off. And it's tremendously well done. This is a thing we really enjoy doing here on the stream, which is analyzing what makes really good games really, really good. So that's what we're doing right now. We talked a lot about Miller's Law earlier, about the amount of data points available to the player. We've talked about how they do their UI design to make it more transparent, how they breathe life into the world with animations and shader effects. It's all really good. It's all really good. And I'm gonna take that into the game that I am building. We are building a game, and it's incredibly helpful to do stuff like this because I get to learn from it and then take the things that work and put them in my game. Really like the dice crafting and changing the faces you get. Yes, absolutely, Kilted. Backseat Stoner, I love that. A few years back, I created a Trello board for myself for making a note of game mechanics that I enjoy. Very nice, Backseat Stoner. Captain Nosa, this game looks super cute. I haven't heard of it before, but it looks very good. Yeah, it's phenomenally good. It's a really good puzzle, and it's very simple. It made me wonder if this was a board game before they made the video game. And that's going to be my design process moving forward, actually, is build a board game first, and then if I can get the logic puzzles working in the board game world, then I can bring it over to the video game world, and it'll be simple enough that it'll be quick to implement. Look at you making games with theory and stuff, and I'm here just making stuff on feeling and instinct. They're just different approaches, right, Foolbox? It's all just about what works for you in your creative process. For me, my brain works best when I have something for it to hook into. It drives my wife crazy because she will say something that makes perfect sense. But unless I can understand the principles behind why she's saying something, I won't believe her. Believe is maybe a harsh word, but it's hard for me to go along with something if I don't really truly at a deep level understand what it is what we're saying. She'll say "Hey Joe, I think your hair looks bad right now," and I say, "Well, I think it looks good." And then 3 days later, I'm I figured out why it looked bad, and now I agree with you. You make yourself sound like a horrible person. Yeah, that's probably true. Sorry, could you please say or pin the game name again for me? Yeah, let me throw the link in chat, actually. Let me grab it off of Steam. Doop. And doop. There we go. Dicefolk. We're going to pin it. That's a good idea. End of stream. There's Dicefolk. I'm struggling with the golden rule of game dev. Invoke emotions. I think I have to have less emotions to understand this point. or you have too few emotions to understand this point. Shoot. The trick is just to add more seesaws. There you go. I mean, genuinely, okay, so let's talk about that for a second. I think there's really something to that. Because one of a really good point of making something fun and interesting, go look at playgrounds. What do kids just enjoy? Every time I have my daughter like watch some sort of gameplay or something, and she comments on, oh, that looks fun. She's 3.5, by the way. Every time she says, oh, that's so fun, I ask, why? Like there was one of like a flight simulator thing where you fly through rings to get speed boosts. And I said, why do you think that's fun? She said, the rings are fun. Well, why are they fun? They're fun to go through. And it's like, okay, I think that's a fundamental, deep, just like truism. Rings are fun to go through. You can now take that and use in your games. You don't have to necessarily understand the exact principle behind it. It's enough to know rings are fun. Go through them. Jump through the hoops. We do a break during the ads. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. The thing that got me to look at this game was I saw a trailer. Oh no! No! Wrong scene! Banish the face. I saw a trailer and seemed like a really well done animation. I was like, wait, is this game based on an actual cartoon? It does have a very Saturday morning cartoon sort of vibe. Absolutely. Logic always wins. There are no emotions to win in a fight against logic, so Prosto Cochilo, I don't know. I'm guessing an accent. I have no idea. There's a fantastic book called Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. And in that book, he postulates that every decision is made emotionally first and then justified later with logic. And I think that's a fascinating perspective. We're about to go into a boss fight, so I'm just grabbing a little consumable that's going to give me an extra dice. Rings of Fun, title of your next game. There you go. Backseat Stoner, anything can be turned into a game. I sometimes even dare my friends to give me a topic and I'll quickly prototype something about it. That's awesome. By the way, if you're getting into game dev, that's a great thing to do. Build lots of prototypes really quick. We actually have someone in the community who did that. They built a prototype every single day in Game Maker and then shared it out across various different communities they were a part of. Now they make oodles of money doing consulting work for people and teaching them how to build stuff in Game Maker and doing projects for them. Because he just built a ton of prototypes and was vocal about it and shared it. And it got him work. Like, it was awesome. It was great. He's actually in our community. He's our very first mentor in the Discord, and he's volunteering those services right now to everyone for free in the Discord. Whenever he has time and expertise, he chimes in on how to help people Get the most out of Game Maker. Another tip, go to r/band names for puns and get some game ideas. That's fascinating, Backseat Stoner. I've never thought of that, and I love it. I do that's my next band name all the time, tongue in cheek. I love the idea of using it to generate ideas. I could totally see that being a game jam sort of thing, right? That's awesome. Favorite design principle, that'd be Fitz Law. Captain Enosa, you are the only person I've ever heard outside of work to reference Fitz Law. We're friends. Well done. Fitz Law is great, although I do always confuse it with Hick's Law, unfortunately. Takes me a minute to remember which is which, but we get there. We get there eventually. I'm gonna heal up my squad, because this is bleed. When we rotate, we're gonna take this much damage. It's gonna be really painful, and I need to rotate right now. Designing better target sizes is a lengthy but great read. I've never heard of that one. Is that an article or a book? Or may I share the clip of how I did the seesaw wrong? Absolutely. I'd love that. Thank you. I confused the two as well. All right. Hold on. Ah! Okay. Wait, hold on, clip. Hold on. Wait. Oh, the music still goes on in the background. Okay. Muted. Go to our browser. What do we got here?
Connie says.
Not strong enough.
Test.
Well, I mean, gravity seems to be working. That's good.
Says.
Not strong enough.
Test.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. A guide? Not sure to call it. Thank you for sharing that, Backseat. Take a look at that. By Ahmad Shadid. That is lengthy. Wow. That scroll bar is very small. Good for them. That's like a scholarly article sort of writing. You yeet them from below. I mean, the seesaw seemed to function. I think there was just some, like, glue or something on the bottom. Someone's messing with teacher. Alright, good. So the ads are down. Now we just have to worry about the main guy. Although if I was being smart, I would have had the ferret attack so that the big boss doesn't get a hit in. Yeah, this is no bueno. Ouchie. Okay. Throw up a shield. We can see the different die faces here. By the way, talking about Fitz's Law and signifiers and everything, I do feel on desktop this little question mark tooltip is really hard to notice. On the Steam Deck, on console, there's a little button prompt to tell you, and it's way bigger instead of this question mark, and it works a lot better. I think this question mark could be bigger. When Captain Mimosa mentioned that law, I immediately remembered the article. It has interactive examples and really changed how I think about making a UI. Very cool. Very cool. The dice rolling animation is so clean. Yeah, it really is. That's come up multiple times today from people. Yeah. I'm now in a meeting marathon. Wish you a good time. Have a great meeting marathon. Connie Dev, best of luck. Didn't even realize there was a question mark there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you want to see good examples of, pop-over text prompting, I think we played Shogun Showdown the other day, and I think it does a good job of that. Okay. What do I actually want to do here? We wanted to throw an attack. That's an easy choice. Do we re-roll? I think we re-roll. Yeah, that's a way better roll. Don't get an attack. Don't get an attack. Dang it! That's not good. That's bad. Rainbow Scourge, and we got Burn. Oh, jeez. Well, this guy's dead. And the problem is on this difficulty, we don't get any sort of a heal. after we beat the boss, so like health really matters. Let's reroll. Good, we got a block. That's really important. You know, I'm going to use our Thorns token just to get as much damage as I can to end the fight before anything else has to happen here. Because he's getting a scary amount of bleed on everyone. Oh, gosh. It's brutal. And he is just not targeting. Oh, gives an activation to a random ally. So that box needs to go on someone else so that his activation can happen. Because it will only trigger himself if it says, grants to a random ally, including yourself. It doesn't have that. So I put this on the wrong guy. His little ray gun is never getting activated. That's a big bummer. But we may be able to win this fight here. Range attack, okay. Yeah, that's it. Good. Okay, so we survived. No one got knocked out. That's important. You can heal up very easily if you don't have anything knocked out. If something is knocked out, then you have to revive them before you can heal them. It's a big bummer. So do we go for extra strength, which is a big deal, or do we go for inflicting blind on the opposing leader with 2 activations? I think we go for Beast Fangs, get some more strength, and pop it on this guy. Ideally, we start getting some creatures that will start leveling up their strength a bunch, which triggers this guy's ability to attack a bunch. So as soon as we give strength to one ally, he's going to get to attack twice for free, which is huge. Actually, just notice the zoom in as well. That's neat. Yes, absolutely it is. 100% it is. Okay. Let's grab some berries. Ooh, +1 strength, yeah. So we're really wanting to find a way to boost people's strength mid-fight. This guy's kind of fun. Clash attacks with the opposing leader on a spell, so it's an activatable. So he can get clicked on, and he will just headbutt the next guy. He's not going to be giving us strength, though. That's what we're really needing. We need someone who's going to boost up strength. These are consumable items that you equip and have a positive and a negative effect, but they have a permanent positive effect. +8 max HP. I'll get that, and then we can throw that on some monster we pick up later on. Are there any other shrines we can get to without taking a fight? I don't think so. So let's go to the Shadow Chest. We'll go up here, get some buffs. Ah, here we go. Mysterious Skull. Gains +1 strength for the rest of the battle on opponent spawn. So we're going to replace the toolbox with that. So now our Bian Fury is going to get a lot of free hits in. And the Ring of Pride, that's what we're looking for. Next Chimera to appear in a shrine will be iridescent. That's really important. That's going to make their ability stronger. So before we go to this shrine to recruit a new monster, we're going to throw this ring onto one of our monsters we just want to replace. And that's important because this ring is cursed. Once you equip it, you can never take it off. But if you just replace the monster, then the ring goes away. It's delightful. And that intro screen, gosh, it's so good. I'm 100% copying that for Rescue. Yeah, look at all these chain reactions we've got going now. Dead before we even take one action. Very good. Jeez. Great. They didn't get to do anything. Dead. He's gonna revive? Interesting. But then we get the respawn spawn attack the opposing leader. That's hilarious. Is there any battle log? I don't think so. I don't think so, Fubar. I've never noticed. Oh, no. Dang it. I went into the shrine without equipping the thing. Bummer. That's okay. We probably didn't want that guy anyways. He said to the entire class when the girl rejected him. All right. Let's do another fight. The good thing is with that strength buff, all of a sudden now, we kind of unlocked our build a lot. Yeah, I don't think there's any sort of log. This is a tracker of, like, what ascension you're on. This is speed. And these are just generic settings. I don't think there's any sort of log. Oh, it's so strong. Man, it's crazy what just one item can do for your build. I'm gonna reroll. I'm gonna hope for a clash. Got it. Good. So we can kill him. Rainbow Scourge is so mean. It inflicts a random negative or positive effect. Negative for you, positive for them. But the negative effects are so mean. Like 6 bleed. That's 6 damage every time you rotate. It's crazy. I feel it's so overtuned. Do we ray gun blaster? I think we... Let's purify. Because that's mostly going to not do anything. Shoot. Okay, so get a free attack off on this Belloid that we're going to replace, and then we can mirror that back to him. There we go. Oh, and he's getting a free attack. 1 hit point. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Look how alive we are. Phenomenally alive. All right, there we go. Okay, before I go to the shrine, I'm equipping the dang ring. Here we go. Let's see what shiny Pokemon we get. Sorry, Iridescent Battlemon or whatever. Chimera. Enter or exit lead attacks the opposing leader. That's really not what we were hoping for. I mean, it's strong, don't get me wrong. It's just not what I was hoping for. So we'll have to do that. We'll boost up your strength. And we'll just give you the rest of these relics. I don't feel comfortable using the +8 max HP on you because I don't know that we're going to stick with them completely. I like the diagonal wipe / fade in plus scroll unscroll combo. Yeah, it's a good point. That screen transition when we go between map screens, that's a very good point. Yeah. Let's go to our Traveler. Right there. That fade, that wipe, very good. It's a good point. Let's get some healing equipment. Ooh, yes. Once per battle, gain 6 regen when you attack. Very good. 6 regen is exactly what you might assume it to be. Gain 6 health every turn, decrement by 1 every turn. So it's like 6 plus 5. It's 6 factorial, right? It's a lot of health to be gaining back. And the chain reaction begins. Now what we need is like a gain strength on rotate, and then all of a sudden this build would be insane. I don't know if there's a Chimera that does that though. It's a nice wipe and fade in general, but when it has the scroll unscrolling as well, it's extra nice somehow. Yeah. So I think one of the principles that's kind of going into that is repetitive shapes. So if you have 1 square, it kind of looks a little bit weird. But if you have like 50 squares, then it looks really good. So like these cacti, right? They're all circles. It ties in together. Repeated shapes feel nice. These circles here, right? Repetitive shapes. And I think the scrolling matching with the wiping kind of ties into that somehow. It's a repetitive motion, it's a repetitive directionality, and instead of being distracting, they add to each other. Let's buy another dice. Ooh, strong attacks. Yes. That's nice. Uniform language, right? Absolutely. I remember I had a developer I worked with who wanted the entire team to read Developing a Universal Language. And I can never find the book anymore. I don't know where it's gone. And I cannot find it online. I must have the wrong title. But it completely changed the way that I approach communication. Because the first chapter of that book, it's written for software developers. And I was a designer, so I didn't, go through most of it. But the first chapter was incredible because it talks about the importance of when we say a word, are we all saying the same word or not? And that has been transformative for me in communication. All right, let's talk about how they make this all feel alive. We have a heat wave ripple. We have dust clouds going by. We have big clouds going by. We have the dusk of the sun. Very nice. Tumbleweeds. plural, that fade in and fade out. They don't go all the way across the screen, right? Watch this. It'll just fade out. There you go. There you go. It's on a timer. And then we have another dust cloud down here by the dice, drawing your attention down to the dice. Nice and subtle. I guess that's what the grass animation was supposed to do in the first world. Let's get another attack here. And then rotate. Flop. Let's reroll. Taunt isn't really gonna help here. Sure, whatever. Yeah, that regen, super nice. And we're basically gonna win this fight here. We've really popped off our build. Just with that one strength gain item. Absolutely huge. So all the little confetti shader, also something worth noting. You know that, now that we're talking so much about it, the wipe effect combined with the scroll kind of reminds me of Kurosawa films, right? With his emphasis on foreground, middle ground, background. You have the foreground action, and then you have a middle ground animation, and then you have the more subtle background stuff, and it all kind of stacks and works really nicely. What items do we have? These are all cursed, which means once we put them on, we can't take them off. Rotation deals 3 damage to all opponents. That's really strong, but we're not really going for a rotate build, unless we can find a way to have rotations build strength. Oh, man, that's really important. Jeez. And we're 1 gold short of it. Grants 4 strength to the ally leader for the rest of the turn on activation. So we need to put that, jeez, need to put that on Bian Fury so that when he gets activated, he does damage equal to his strength and is buffing up our lead by 4, which then makes him attack twice randomly. That's going to be really important. We need that item. Let's go do one more fight, see what the Scroll Master has for us, and unless it's something like revolutionary, we're going to go for that item. Oh, we got 3 idols on the enemy turn. That's a bummer for them. This Rube Goldberg machine of effects we have at the start of a fight is so satisfying. It's practically an auto battler at this point. Man, I hate this guy though. He builds up all of these thorns, and that's going to be a real nasty problem for me. Is there a way I can... So there's a way to deal damage to people without it technically being an attack, but we don't have any of those die faces, so I think we're just going to have to take the hits, unfortunately. Which means this guy's going to die. Yeah, it's going to get hit with the thorns. Right there, dead. Big bummer. There we go. Ugh, that was a rough fight. We took a lot of damage there. Maripon! Had to run out for a second. I didn't know we were playing this game. We talked about the UI the other day, and I whipped up an idea I had for the UI and dropped it in the UI feedback channel on Discord. Ooh! 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 Let me see. I want to see. Ah, okay. Let's bring this up. Hold on. This is hilarious. Sorry, let me rephrase that. This is good work. I'm excited to take a look at this on stream. It's hilarious because it was such a long discussion the other day, and I'm super glad we're revisiting this. Let's go back to here. So, the other day, this is what Maripon is referencing. We had a discussion. I'd never played this game before. I thought they looked like stickers. Yeah, you thought they looked like stickers. And there was a really good discussion about, right now, when you have already visited something, it fades it out. So it's kind of got this black semi-transparent overlay on top, so it fades into the background a little. And people were trying to figure out, how do we, people felt that there should be some sort of iconography displaying that, hey, you've already visited this, and that would be better. We played around with a ton of different ideas. Let's go over here to our ideas that we played around with. I think they're still in here. I don't think I deleted them. here? No? No. Did I really delete them? No. Did I really? I'm surprised at myself. My goodness. That's a real bummer. Oh, that's a real bummer. Anyways, we tried a bunch of different ideas, and none of them really worked. And now Ameripon is talking about this sticker idea. What if they were stickers? Which I think is cute, and actually pretty good job matching the stroke width to the stroke width on the items themselves. I think that's really interesting. I think you could have that peel up effect on hover, right? So like you hover over it and it peels up the corner a little bit, just saying like, ooh, ooh, you can come inside, come take a look, right? I think that's kind of cute. And then if you click on it, like the sticker peels off, leaving you just kind of the semi-transparent overlay in the back. Just whipped up a quick thing in like 2 minutes, but if it had a peel effect on hover, yeah, I like it. About a passport stamp with animation titled Pass. Could be. So we talked about how it's different from Slay the Spire's map, right? Slay the Spire, on their map, when you get through with a room, you get... I googled Slay the Spire map and I'm getting everything but Slay the Spire. Here we go. You get this circle around it, right? And so everyone in chat was like, well, why don't we have something like that? And we came to the conclusion that we don't have something like that here because this implies you can't go back. But this, you can navigate any direction you want over and over and over again. So that's an important thing to note. Hold on. Let's take that idea of the passport stamp. Let me get to the main map here. We'll do some screenshots. Bloop, bloop, bloop. All right. So what if we had a stamp PNG? This looks perfect for what we're looking for. Copy image, paste, there we go. Shrink it way the heck down. Gonna like rotate it a little. Right in passport. Kind of give it the same red. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. Make that black. Increase our kerning a little bit. And then let's do maybe railway. Yeah, let's text transform it. Let's make it all uppercase. I think that's looking better. Bring it up. A little bit back down. I think that's probably good. So this is our passport, right? We're gonna group this together and then we're gonna give it a blend mode. Maybe not. Maybe we just reduce transparency. Let's do the, what? 70? There's a way to, like, transform this, right? Outline stroke, I think? Yeah. So now we can just scale it for free. Click. Right? So this is an interesting thing to note. If you don't have a solid background, it becomes very hard to read, right? Wouldn't it get really busy? It could. And that was one thing we looked at a lot, was like when you start getting iconography on everything that you've completed, right? It starts getting pretty visually noisy. But I thought it was interesting because we tried so many different ideas. So many people wanted that icon idea to work that it made me start wondering why. Why were people so dogged on this? Why could we not accept just the black overlay? And I think there's something about the dopamine, right? Like getting that check mark saying, yes, well done, good job, right? Nice attempt to ruin my view streak, says Mothman. Yeah, I've got a little baby who didn't want to go to sleep, so we're doing some more design analysis. Welcome in, Mothman Centaur. I'm glad you could join us. We've got a whole new crowd in here today. It's great. Baxi Star, nah, I don't like that. Here's a new thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I think the sticker concept is the closest thing that has been brought up that works. I think it does bring in a little bit of noise on all of your options, but the thing is, you wouldn't have all of these be stickers, probably, to start off with, right? There would be fog, and you'd only get the next options available to be the stickers. And I think that would simplify it a lot. I think that could work. And I really like that peel effect. My only question at that point would become, would this be too busy, right? If we have the peel instead of the hover, we're losing that repetitive animation that they could build once and then just use it for everything, so it's extra work. But then we have the sticker peel, and then when we go into something, the scroll winds up and we get that wipe. Is that going to feel off or not? I don't know. Ooh, this is our bro. This is our guy. On half health, grant 5 strength to its allies for the rest of the battle. Yes! That's better than the item that we were really wanting. And give you max HP, you're now the leader. Congratulations. That's gonna be huge. Ah, we have ads. We'll take a quick break. All right. Very cool. Oh no! Oh, Joe, stop it! Stop with the habits and the muscle memory. Goodness gracious. I'd maybe have reduced the opacity of the ones complete and scale them down a bit. Do you mean over here? Now, this is another thing that, like, I think is a bit of an interference signal. They have the hover over effect still, including that nice little sound effect, by the way. Very good. And I get that they need to keep that there because you can still technically go back. I don't know why you'd ever want to. Like, you're always going to be going to an enabled one. I don't know. Seems weird to me. It seems like they should just disable it and not have the hover effect anymore, but that's just me. Missing puzzle pieces that you place as you progress. That'd be cute. Favorite one is Journey or Ico. Oh, well, that's cheating, Ameripon. You can't just say a game with no UI. Minimal is besto. Oh, shoot. If Binwill were in here, there'd be words exchanged. I think minimal UI has its place. And there's something truly to be said for, like, making it more contextual and in-world. But there are definitely dark sides to that, right? Kilted Ninja, yeah, the ones that have been completed, they're dark, but maybe I'd have just made fainter instead of darker. I could see that. And shrink a bit. Ariel, welcome in, friend, on YouTube. How are you? It does have UI? Oh, barely. Barely. It has more horns on the main character than it has UI. Come on. You're making me look this up. Ico game. Bringing me back to my childhood. Yeah, like, every screenshot I see has no UI. Like, is there a pause menu? That doesn't count. Life is a game with 0 UI, but I hear it has a low user score. Welcome in, Fortune's favorite. Good to see ya. That's the beauty of it, says Ameripon. Listen, it can be beautiful. The problem is, if it's not done brilliantly, it's terrible. That's the problem with it. So yeah, it can be phenomenal. It can also be outrageously frustrating. Surprised to see you so early. Me too. My baby woke up and didn't want to go back to sleep. So instead of just sitting in a rocker, bored to tears, and me falling asleep while he's whining, or trying to put him back down and keeping everyone else awake, I thought, let's just go play some Dicefolk and hang out with people. Let's talk about what makes good games great. Here's a good one, Dead Space. Okay, I'm with you on that one, Ameripon. I think Dead Space is a very clever application of in-world UI. I think it's very powerful. Jeez, it's so much thorns. I don't know how we're gonna fight that. Of course it goes to the one with all the thorns. Yeesh. Get blame, that's just fine. Get ouch. Big attack. Are you gonna thorn him up enough so that I can't hurt him? Darn it. Okay, we gotta use our heal. But then we get our strong attack. Oh, and it's gonna be wasted on him. No, let's just end the turn. There's gotta be a better way to deal with that. They also made The Last Guardian. Interesting. Yeah, I made Last Guardian and Shadow of the Colossus. And the theory is they're all in the same world. Ooh. There we go. That's our better way of dealing with that guy. He gets a mirror. So we'll rotate, mirror, purify. And I want to rotate this guy back into the front. Darn it. We can put a taunt on him, though. That's good. Man, we're just not getting that. We'll rotate out. UI hot take. What is a healthy UI to game content ratio? Thinking from simple Pong to overcomplicated games. I mean, I think that 100% depends on your game, right? At the end of the day, everything that we do is designing for people, right? So we're not designing for games, and I think that's an important thing to remember. We don't design for games, we design for people. In Rules of Play, they say that game design is one of the last real bastions of pure user-focused design. There is no motivation in designing a game, or at least, hopefully, other than creating something that people enjoy. So what is going to be a good UI for one game is going to be a terrible UI for another game, because once again, we're not designing games, we're designing for people. And those people are going to need different things depending on context. Pong doesn't need very much. If we tried to load that up with analytics and cool juice and stuff, it would probably take away from Pong. But in another game, that wouldn't be the case. Energy Blast. This is the thing that's going to get us around thorns. It's not technically an attack. So let's throw that in. Can I post a link here for what I meant with the UI? Or should I put it in Discord? I just found the right place in Discord. Okay, I'll go take a look. And thank you for asking. It would have been just fine posting it in chat. Thank you for asking. Okay. Let's open this up. I love all these ideas people are sharing. This is fantastic. Open in browser. Visit site. There we go. Come on, browser. Come on, browser. Just take your medicine. Get the new tab in. I know I've got a lot of tabs. Don't worry about it. It's fine. All right. And browser. Okay, let me zoom in. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, shrinking it down, I mean, I think that works, right? In fact, I do these little in-between non-nodes as well. And I think that could work, for sure. It really brings all these to the focus. You can see it contrasted against this one, right? I think that works. I do. Especially since there's not really ever a need to return to a location that is in this state, right? Shops and stuff you can come back to, but they never go into that state, so it would be fine. Yeah, I think that totally works. 100%. Zero UI, hyper-casual games, real-time strategy games. Yeah, wide spectrum, absolutely. Are you not playing Pong right now? Attacks bouncing back and forth and you're moving your guys to take the opponent's hit? I love that take. Dicefolk is just complicated Pong. That's great. Now I want like an alternative skin, you know, where it's all Pong sound effects. Whenever you make an attack, doot. Okay, throw that activation on you, passive on you, swap that out. So this is our support character now. Let's throw that on you. I think that's feeling good. That's feeling good. Got our bonfire. Let's eat up. We could rest. We are kind of hurting, but you want to keep up your momentum and get stat bonuses. +1 strength, +1 int, that's huge. So this is going to give everyone even more strength when he gets hurt. Big deal. It's rough, but gets the idea. Yeah, I think so, Kilted. I think that one works. Fortune's favorite. Aren't all turn-based games just slower Pong? Open world games are Pong, where you can move closer to the opponent. You know, that'd be a fun YouTube series. Everything is Pong, and we'll talk about why. I'd watch that. Backseat Stoner. My favorite Pong variation is every time a player hits a ball, the ball multiplies. Reminds me of Breakout Survivors, which is a game we talk about a lot here on the stream. Very cute little Breakout roguelike that probably was very quick to build. Let's try and knock this guy down. So, ideally, the order of operations for winning here is we kill this guy because he's the healer. And then we kill this guy because he buffs everyone's health and intelligence. And this guy gives health and intelligence to his allies when he is hurt. It's the same guy we have. We technically have a boss monster on our team, which is very fun. So if we kill this guy's allies before he gets hurt, then his buff does nothing to them. Because they're dead. Oof. Well, we got 2 idols and a purify. That's good. That was a pretty good reroll, all things considered. Let's get our burb to attack. Nice. Brick Break is Pong against multiple stationary opponents. Everything is Pong. Ooh, look at all these chain reactions we're getting going. This is great. So we can rotate this guy back in. Ooh, and then we can activate Bian Fury to give ourselves more strength, which will give him to attack again. Now, we did time this a little bit not great because I didn't realize we had rotated. But that's okay. Could be worse. Could be stabbed. And we'll blast him. That's not quite half, unfortunately. But we'll get to half soon here. Oh, we do have the regen on him, which is nice. Activate once again. Very nice. Get our free attacks in. Very nice. Let's do a clash. Trigger everyone's strength gain, which is going to make Bian Fury go nutso. Jeez. We'll knock out Petrocell, which will get Bian Fury to kill him. And there we go. We have the last guy that we wanted in the fight. And we can rotate Armandoro in. Get these big juicy hits off. Reroll. Charge is fine. That doesn't do anything for him. That increases his intelligence, which buffs his ability, which doesn't matter. And I think we're just going to end the turn. Because he could do a lot of damage here if we let him. And let's re-roll. I'm not feeling that roll. That's good. Rotation die scuffed. Good. Get him back in the lead. Get him his free attack. Get his Beyond Fury an attack. We can now throw a guard up and a swing. Oh no! Shoot. That was bad. Shoot. Hilton Ninja, the level is actually multiple planes here as well. Cactus in the foreground, main level area, bones, the Tapui sort of things, and then the cloud, and then the skybox. Yep, absolutely. They all move independently. Yeah, you get a lot of parallax whenever we zoom in and out. 100%. Yeah. All of those layers, once again, Kurosawa, right? Foreground, middle ground, background. Layers that let us introduce parallax, which is a cheap way to make a world feel very alive. Ooh, on spawn, if not in the lead, plus 10 strength for the rest of the turn. Enter lead, plus 2 strength for the rest of the battle. Whoa, cookie sandwich. Let's do cookie sandwich. Very good. Have you seen Mortal Pong Bat? Backseat Stoner, please tell me that's not a game. Nobody would turn Mortal Kombat into Pong, right? This is a joke, right? Right? This is a joke, right? It has to be. It has to be a joke. So travel bags, let's get this guy on. This is an item that if you have guard and you get attacked, you give guard a shield to another random ally. No, no, Backseat Stoner, no. I don't know whether to be enthralled, enthused, enraptured, or disgusted. What is this? Pongality. Jeez. It's old.
Hello there, and welcome to yesteryear's Mac Games, where today we're looking at a game which name comprises of a silly pun. Mortal Pongbat is the subject of interest here, probably the simplest game I've covered, but no less fun. Mortal Pongbat is a Pong clone with some enhancements. The makers must have looked at the original concept and thought, there's a lot of empty space going on in the middle here. Let's do something about it. Some of these things are apparent. You may have already noticed that the bats have been armed with laser beams. You may also have noticed that there are multiple balls of different colours. The objective then is to flail the paddle up and down and try not to be the player that misses the last ball. Doing so will grant the opponent a point. This is a lot harder when your opponent has put a mahoosive great big hole in the middle of you. There are 3 buttons then, up, down and zap. It supports 2 players, runs on System 7 and up, is compatible with Classic Mode and OS X, and can be emulated without any problems.
Wow.
And you get a rather loud title screen.
That's crazy. Wow. I didn't know I needed that in my life. Holy cow. Enthralled, enraptured, that's all fantastic. I'm glad they didn't do like full-on Mortal Kombat with Pong. That was the right level. That was very good. My goodness. We're unfortunately going to go and rest up here to try and revive our characters a little bit. That was a rough boss fight. We got Sozin over here. Inflicts Frozen and Entangle on all opponents. So Entangle makes it so you can't rotate. Frozen makes it so you take double damage from 1 attack. Backseat Stoner, I can keep going about Pong games, but don't want to steal the stream. That is so great. I love it. Let's throw this guy in. Oh yeah, let's get our strength up. Oh my gosh, this is nutso. Watch this cascade of effects. Sheesh. Do I want to rotate again? That get us 12 plus 18, 30. It's not going to be enough to kill him. But it is a lot. It's a miss. Oh, right, because we're entangled. Darn it. Oh, man, he's going to take a big hit. All right, bummer. All right, so we survive with 1 hit point because of our special ability. Ninja. So it seemed there when hovering over, there's a massive pop-up window of actions, etc. Does that seem too much? How would you deal with that, or would you? I think I know what you're talking about. We'll take a look at that in the next fight. I think that would be a really good discussion to have. Let's get our brood berries. Spicy brood berry, 100% on Bian Fairy, because he's pumping out like 50 attacks a turn now. So, gosh, every time I love that introduction screen. This one, right? That's what you're talking about? Yeah, this is a lot, and it obscures a lot of the screen. Let's take a screenshot of that. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Well, you know what? Let's do it fair. Let's do the whole screen. We'll take it over to Figma. I think it's a very good question, and I have felt that in the past, and I've never thought, I wonder if I could do it better. So let's try it. So this is our basic screen, and then I'm going to grab a screen grab with no hover. Last remark, if you want to chill Yin Yang screensaver, search for Pong Wars. If you want to play my favorite Pong variant, search for Nog.js. Wow. Backseat Stoner, we need to have a dedicated Pong stream where you come on and we interview you all about Pong. I can feel the information beaming off of you, and I'm fascinated. Absolutely fascinated. So, if we look at this, there's not a lot of dead space, right? The only dead space we have is kind of right here, right? Everything else, there's not really a lot of unused space. So I don't think there's a lot to like condense, right? That means to me, we need to look at alternative display mechanisms. There's not really a way to condense the information that's here. So the question is, what is the information that's necessary to display? And then how do we make that feel rewarding to the player? Do you select anything from that menu? No, it's non-interactive. It's all tooltips. All tooltips. Just feels like a massive amount of info to me. I don't think it feels like a massive amount of info. I think it is a massive amount of info. Like, I think the feeling represents reality. And it's important and it's helpful. But I think there's some things that could be done to make it a little more legible. Am I some game UI expert? I'm not a game UI expert, but I have been a product and UX designer for a decade. So I've designed my fair share of very complicated interfaces. I have worked in some of the most complex, heavily regulated industries in the world. Worked in healthcare, insurance, cybersecurity, all that sort of stuff. So you are. Well, my game experience is still relatively minor. We only just started back in November. So take that for what it's worth, right? I am not someone who has built a billion games. So I'm going to come at this with a different angle than other people might that are in the industry. That also hopefully means it will be a different take that is helpful. But also take it with that grain of salt that I am not some acclaimed game UI expert. Trash the whole thing, make the items as status icons with square outlines to show they are equipable, and have the individual summaries pop up on hover. Fortune's favorite, I think you're going in a direction that I'm considering going, of just completely redefining the interaction pattern, right? Which, once again, is a lot more work, but maybe worth it. I'm a Merlin. That explains why your stuff looks so clean. I can learn a lot here. Well, I'm glad you feel it looks clean. That surprises me. Cyber-secured UI, ladybugs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ladybugs. Sorry, that's my background for my camera usually. That's an illustration my wife did for a board game that we designed that we'll be building in, I believe, Godot, as soon as this game in Game Maker is finished. My wife is a professional illustrator. She's represented with an agent. She's national. She's got big publications. She's a legit professional. So Foolbox, we'll support you and let know when something makes no sense. Thank you. I mean, really, that's 90% of my job as a product and UX designer. More work to make it cleaner is definitely worth it. It is. Unless that comes at the cost of, like, functionality, right? It's all about opportunity cost. It is not clean. Now I'm confused. Well, I mean, I think my UIs don't necessarily look great. I haven't spent a lot of time refining them. Once again, this is not my UI, right? I like ladybugs, also like this style. Very nice. There's a quote in programming, the most progress I ever made on some code I was writing was deleting the entire 20,000 lines and starting over. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So there's some possibilities we could take here, right? We have status icons down here, and these can get pretty intense. Like if I take this and copy it, whoop, whoop, you can have 4 or 5 different status icons. So this space is kind of accounted for, right? We can't really play with that space. So if that's the case, what if we brought our equipment and brought it over here, right? And then we could have like our different equipment slots, and then you could hover over each equipment slot to find what effect that they had. Slay the Spire is a good example of iconography, absolutely. Sock House, hello, welcome in. What are you trying to do? We're trying to explore alternative methods to simplify this screen. If I get rid of these. So this huge pop-up that happens when you hover over one of your characters later on in the game, we're trying to look at, is there a way to kind of simplify this? Make it take up less of the screen real estate, because it definitely obscures quite a lot. It's also worth questioning, though, do we need to? Because if you're just hovering over this, you're caring about this information, you're probably not really caring about anything that it's covering up, and that's a worthwhile thing. I think there's a lot to be said about typography for this game that could fix things up. Like right here, we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different typography sizes. Well, this is probably the same size as this. And same weight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I'll count outlines as a different style. So it's at least 5. And then if you want to count colors as well, like 6 or 7, right? Thank you so much for the follow, Prosta. Appreciate it. So that's a lot of typography styles, and I think you could simplify this a lot by introducing some better spacing and some better typography styles. We'll get to that in a second. Any backstory on why the sub icons are fezzes? You can blame Foolbox for that. Foolbox, normally I normally wear a bow tie. I don't right now because it was 5 a.m. when I started streaming, and I just got up with a cranky baby. But Foolbox saw that and said, like the good Doctor Who fan he is, you need a fez. And I agreed, and my wife made a fez for me. Oh, God. And so that's kind of just been the running joke. So we have a ton of hats that we tend to put on. That's a bunch of the channel points you'll see down below, is swapping out hats and everything. It's fun. And then someone made an icon of a fez. And we use this as our sub-icon, because I didn't have a sub-icon yet. That's the whole backstory. Jack, typography isn't consistent. The first 6 is outlined and others aren't. Really? Hold on. Let's see. I'm a Merlin. Really enjoyed co-working to you today. I'll be back for more, but for now I need to move on. Have a great rest of the stream. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Merlin. It was great having you in here. Good seeing you. Have a good rest of your day. You can't see Joe. It's because I'm not here, Sockhouse. The ladybugs are streaming today. No, I woke up at 5 a.m. with a cranky baby, so I didn't do the whole outfit today. Yeah, so the 6 is outlined. Oh, right, because that's, so that one is outlined because it's intelligence. And to their credit, I think that's important. It tells you that if you increase your intelligence stat, this number will increase. Whereas once per battle gains 6 regen, this one will not increase. And that does it just through visuals, and they don't have to have a disclaimer on there where they say, you know, affected by intelligence or something, right? And I think that's actually quite clever. I wouldn't change that necessarily. What is the fez? It's the head. It's our sub icon. Whenever Foolbox is in the channel, we put the fez on. We don the fez. And it's our subscriber icon as well. Jack made it. Jack actually made his own 2D drawing program to incentivize himself to learn how to draw. And I love that. Also, Foolbox just made a drawing overlay for his stream, so he can just draw on top of his stream whenever he wants. The talent of people on Twitch astounds me. Really, really, truly. We do have an ad starting in just a second. We'll pause the UI design while we do that. But in the meantime, let's keep looking at some explorations here. Jack, that makes sense because looking from outside, having an outline number and a regular number and a plus number makes a big... Yes, I totally get that. Yeah. Fortunes. If a keyword is affected by a stat, they should consider also making a color association for quick reference. I could see that, yeah. So they've got that with intelligence. You could argue that black outline is a little heavy, because really what you want to see is the yellow. But also yellow is a really tough color, and they made it extra hard for themselves with that sort of vellum colored background. The yellow is not going to contrast, so they have to have a good thick outline around it, or put like a full colored background on it, so the whole square is colored, right? Here's this hat called Fesca, so it didn't get first. Oh, interesting, very cool. Fesca, the Fesca Fez. Yeah, I'm sure Fez is some American bastardization of Fesca, for sure. All right, we're on ads. We'll take a quick break. Oh, I know, dude. Let's get you some milk. Foolbox. I actually saw that the artist for Balatro just did an AMA on the games subreddit. Didn't read anything about it, but because I haven't really played Balatro, but I've heard amazing things about it. I'm sure there's some really interesting stuff in that AMA. All right, let's go to our UI here. I want to see that. Yeah, go search for it. I'm sure it'll be easy to find. So yeah, let's talk about different explorations we could do here. We could do this, right, where we have the different icons, and then you have just one tooltip on hover. The problem is you're not getting, like, the abilities. So, like, you could hover over each of these tooltips, and then hover over this guy, and that would get you all the information in smaller chunks. The problem with that is, what if you need things contextually? What if you need to see, like, something that grants an activation and what has an activation? Or you need to see, like, do I have something that gives me on attack and on hurt? Or on hurt and KO'd? And so, if they didn't put them all together, you're going to be hovering over everything. We're going to be incurring these little micro moments of exhaustion and memory retention, right? We start really running into obstacles with Miller's Law, trying to keep everything in short-term memory instead of just having it on the screen. You need to analyze Balatro? Do you want it? Sure. I mean, if you have an extra key, that would be lovely. I'd totally make a point of doing that. That would be phenomenal. Thank you, Fullbox. Oh, you'd have to swap between each tooltip. Yeah, exactly. Slay the Spire has highlighted keywords which displays their description when you hover over them out of combat. Sure, yeah, okay. So let's talk about that, right? Slay the Spire has cards. Cards can have text. We have dice here. There's not really any text for us to hover over. So, I'll set that up this afternoon. Need to get the stream ready now. Well, you are a gem. Thank you, Fullbox. Good luck on your stream, by the way. Wishing you all the success. By the way, everyone go watch Fullbox in case you don't. Fullbox is making an awesome puzzle game about building shapes and the stories they tell, and is doing all sorts of crazy cool stuff. Have a nice rest of your stream. Thank you so much, Fullbox. You as well. So another option we could do, right, is we could take, if I can screenshot things with one hand, the keywords up here, and we can build this kind of like turn phase sort of thing, right, where we have all of our different keywords over here, and then you can hover over those to get, oh geez, anyways, you get the idea, right? You can hover over those and get this same tooltip pop out. Problem with that is, once again, what if you need things to synergize with each other and then you're getting every single thing's attack? Like, it's not a very good pattern. Backseat Stoner, one could look at Brotato as well as the enhancement mods people made in order to improve the tooltips. Ooh, that would be interesting. Modding is such a fascinating thing. Like, I'm such a big fan of open sourcing stuff for exactly that reason. You start to see what the community values and what takes off, and then you just, like, improve it. And you win. It's a really good strategy to open source things, if you were built to be able to do that. I 100% want every game I make to have some type of mod support. Yeah. So, with all that being said, we're running into a lot of problems, right? And we're starting to see why they went this route of hover over one character, get everything blocked out. So, what if we just try and simplify the block? We're going to go ahead and copy this a little. And we can change the typography, I think, for some really big effects. Copy the color. And they do not use all caps. They use, they don't even use title case. They just use sentence case. Seems like if you try to split it out, you're losing some of its usefulness. Yeah, I think so. So we have our item name. Oh, and we have up top, we have Chimera name, Exog. And then we have this Chimera underneath, which is interesting. I don't totally know why that exists. I'm curious if, like, the boss will have a different name there. Is that about the same? I'm actually going to copy and paste this next to it so I can reference it more easily. Oops. There we go. Let me jump back into the game. Let's see. Yeah, these are all chimeras. I don't know why we have that, like, designation there. It's interesting. So, we also have their ability, which is on its own little box here. And this is fully uppercased, which is interesting, right? And this is why doing master copies like this is really, really effective. Because we start to notice decisions that were made that we didn't notice before. This is Half Health has that full title case. We're gonna make a quick arrow. Probably is somewhere kind of over here-ish. Grab our triangle. And it looks like it's a bit squat. Something kind of like that. Okay. Rewind those. I want my game to be modded. It's a good way to support creativity, but first need to make a game that people want to mod. This is the hard part. I can get that, yeah. Friday Night Funkin' is the best example. They made a fortune out of it. Ooh, I haven't heard of Friday Night Funkin'. Something I've learned recently is not to support communities that don't exist. If you really want to support mods but don't have the community, just put coming soon. That's a really, really good point, Sockhouse. So, no joke, Silicon Valley does stuff like that all the time. Where they will put a button saying coming soon on this feature, and then they will wait and see how many people, like, request it to come more soon. And then when they get enough people saying, hey, we want to use this, then they'll say, okay, we'll actually start building it. But they don't start building it until they have some sort of confirmation that it's going to be of value to people. Which, you know, has its benefits and drawbacks. We could talk a lot about Silicon Valley and its hubris and decision-making aptitudes, but it is an interesting way to do it. You can't grow trees by watering soil without seed. There you go. All right. And then we've got more text here. And I'm just trying to replicate this so that we can quickly manipulate it however we want to. Grants. And then this probably isn't... Probably a... Well... This one's probably also medium. And then we have that little square with the number in it. No fill, but it does have an inner shadow. Let's see, why are we not seeing the inner shadow? You're at the top of the layer list. Just play with values here until we start being able to actually see this thing. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, nothing's showing up. Why are we not visible? Why are we not visible? What? They raised $2.25 million? What? FNF is a Guitar Hero adaptation with cartoon characters. They ran a Kickstarter to make money while keeping the game free. Mod support made it super popular. Look at the view count on any fan-made video. Wow, that's crazy. I recently learned this lesson by supporting speedrunning prematurely, says Sockhouse. Oh, man. No stroke on it. I don't think there's a stroke. I think that's a very, very shallow inner shadow. I could be wrong, but I think so. The weird thing is I'm just not able to get the inner shadow showing up. Speedrunning and mod support, I think, are huge things to consider when making games. Yeah, and you can design it and build your game in such a way so that you can support it in the future, but just like leave the hole, don't put the peg in it, right? All right, guy, let's try this. Let's do okay, so now it's showing up. Will it not show up if there's not a fill? That would be a rule I didn't know about, Figma. Yeah, wow, look at that. I didn't know that. There we go. Yeah, see, that's pretty much the same effect. Can I just make the fill 0%? No, it has to be fully opaque. That is so weird. All right, we'll just copy the background color. And then we'll change our inner shadow color to be kind of their brownish sort of thing. We're getting kind of close over here, right? Yeah, that's looking okay. That's looking okay enough. Fill, yellow, stroke. black. And we're definitely an inside stroke. Oh, God. Oh, goodness. Yeah, you develop it so your own implementation of mod number 0. There you go. I think... Man. That stroke is really invasive. It feels like we need to do something like that, you know, get it that big before the stroke starts looking reasonable. Which is too big, right? But what if we convert to outlines and then scale it down? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. All right. So, this little guy's going a little crazy. I think I may have to call it here for tonight, folks, or today, rather. We'll be back on later today for all of you who are hanging around. We normally stream from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. It has been such a joy hanging out with all of you today, though. This has been so fun. And we'll keep on going on in this discussion of how do we improve the UI for this game and make that typography better. Oh, goodness. All right. Kilted Ninja, thank you so much. Thank you, Backseat Stoner. You're all fantastic. Let's raid into someone. I don't know that I'm following anyone who streams this early. Although I probably do. We have several people who said, oh, we can raid into Foolbox or... Yeah, let's raid into Foolbox. I haven't been able to raid into him in, like, forever. Good, yes. It comes full circle. Okay, we got a lot of raid requests. This is great. These are people I will follow, and the next time we do this, because I have a newborn, we're going to be doing this probably in the future, I'll follow them so we can add them into the list to raid in the future. With that, thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your solar cycle, wherever you are at in it, and we'll see you next time.